What is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Sunday. And first and foremost, as always, positive vibrations and blessings out to everybody who could be listening. Now, as we all know, the Los Angeles Lakers have been off for a couple of days, and they will be off again on tomorrow night, which I think is a good thing because the Lakers have played more games than anyone else in the month of November in the entire NBA. And that did not bode well for them, especially considering LeBron James missed some of those games. But with that also being said, with this break that they've had, I think for 3 days that they'll be off without traveling because they came home from Sacramento and they've been home for their homestand, which they lost against the Clippers, of course, we know on Friday night. But with them having Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, that is going to give them some much needed rest. Without having to travel, and also give them some time to get in some extra shoot around, some practices, and some video sessions, which they are in definitely need of as far as trying to improve on the defensive end of the floor and develop that chemistry, as well as watch the film on the upcoming game against the Boston Celtics. And we all know on the last game was LeBron, I think, was returning from his abdominal strain, if I'm not mistaken, when he played the Boston Celtics in Boston just a couple weeks ago. And, of course, the Lakers did not look good, and Boston just pretty much got to the basket at any time during that game. Then Schroeder got to the basket at any time, and the Lakers couldn't keep anybody in front of them, and then their weak side help looked terrible. However, I think the Lakers have been improving with their defensive chemistry since then, and I think that the slight adjustment that Frank Vogel has made is going to be definitely helpful because he did add he did change the starting lineup and have Dwight Howard start in the starting lineup. And, of course, the Boston Celtics have been looking good as of late. We know on yesterday they took on the Portland Trail Blazers and blew them out 145-117. And, you know, I think that Boston is really starting to come together as a team. Of course, we know that Jaylen Brown has not returned, and they still were able to take care of the Portland Trail Blazers like that, which actually did, the Lakers a favor. Now, if you look at the standings right now, if you take a look at the standings right now in the Western Conference, then you can see that the Lakers are still in the 8th seed after losing, and they are 12-12. And, of course, Denver is 11-11. Right in front of them is Dallas at 11-11. And the Clippers, even though they are 12-12 because they own the tiebreaker over the Lakers, that puts them in that 5th seed. And surprisingly, the Memphis Grizzlies at 13-10 have won their past 3 games without Ja Morant, and really have been very surprising that they've been able to do that and have great chemistry, even though Ja Morant has not been playing. So that puts them right at the 4th seed. And, of course, Utah, they barely hung on to beat Cleveland today by 1 point, which I was hoping Cleveland could have did a favor and gave Utah their loss. That way the Lakers, of course, can have a better chance of moving up through that 4th spot, because that is going to be very important as far as getting that 4th spot. And, you know, Golden State did win the other day, putting them in 1st place over Phoenix, even though they were, of course, without Devin Booker. Now, anticipating this next matchup, you know, with the Lakers in Boston, I feel like LeBron James and company will go out and get the victory this time because they have grown together. Defensively, Malik Monk has emerged more as an offensive weapon, and I'm hoping that Frank Vogel can realize that with the lack of scoring prowess that they have with the starters when they start, by having 3 ball handlers on the floor with THT is not a good thing, because THT is a ball-dominant player, and with THT dominating the ball like that, you cannot have THT, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook on the floor at the same time to start the game, because they're not really creating for others. They're the type that create for themselves. Of course, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook do indeed create for others, but THT is not a spot-up 3-point shooter. You need somebody like Monk out there with AD and Howard, because think about it, with that lineup, you don't really have a spot-up shooter. Russell Westbrook is not a spot-up 3-point shooter. LeBron James is not a spot-up 3-point shooter. Dwight Howard damn sure is not a spot-up 3-point shooter, which though I actually wouldn't mind seeing him come more out to the perimeter, considering how he has hit, I think, 4 out of 6 threes this year. And some of those were not at the end of the game BS shots. It was him actually taking a shot in the game. So if he could actually do that and actually develop, some kind of consistency on that. I know people might think, well, it's too late in this stage of his career to be able to do that. But I saw Marc Gasol do it, later in his career, be able to become a decent threat from three-point line. All he has to do is become respectable. But without having Malik Monk in the lineup, without Malik Monk being in the lineup, you're not really having a three-point shooter threat on the floor. And that's what most of the teams in the NBA, if not all, are really doing. They're making the extra passes, getting their swing man involved in order to rotate that ball around the key and playing outside in instead of inside out now. And if you don't have a threat from the three-point line in the game, it's going to be hard for you to generate offense, because a lot of these teams who are playing the Lakers and getting up for the Lakers are taking a page out of the Phoenix Suns defensive scheme that they did against the Lakers on last year, and they building a soft, 3-2 zone and putting a wall of defenders down in that paint to keep people like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook and the THT from, driving into the paint. And when they do drive to kick out with that defense that they're playing, it's not hard for them to rotate out, especially if they don't have a three-point shooter that they really respect out there. So if you can insert Malik Monk into the starting lineup, I think that would go well for the Lakers. And then on the bench, you could still have THT, somebody who can dribble as well as create for others. And then it seems like Bazemore, of course, has played his way out of the rotation, but I would like to see Bazemore and THT more so on the bench, especially since Avery Bradley is out. I don't see why Bazemore isn't getting a shot of it. I know Austin Reeves is a rookie, and he's getting more of a shot of it. But at this point, I think that, to be honest, you can still use THT as a trading piece. I know that the Lakers should have or could have traded him for Kyle Lowry last year, but of course that didn't work out because they didn't want to give him up, especially with Kyle Lowry only having 1 year left on his contract. But at the end of the day, I just feel like the Lakers, still have what it takes to be able to be competitive in the Western Conference. And if the playoffs were to start even today, I don't give a damn. I would still take them in a 7-game series fully healthy, because a lot of the things that the Lakers are doing, what you fail to realize is it's all about effort. And it's not about talent, because I know a lot of people, they're old. Listen, when you old, sometimes you just got to put in that effort. Just like me, I'm old, but I'm not finna let no young dude whoop me, because I got that old man strength. You understand what I'm saying? So he might be young, so I know he's gonna have probably more wind than me. So he might have a chance for a minute, but I know I got to deliver that knockout blow. So that the Lakers do that in the playoffs, you understand what I'm saying? That's what they will do. They're gonna play a little bit harder when you're back against the wall. Can you imagine a Russell Westbrook and LeBron James knowing that everything is on the line and they giving it they all? And I know you can say what you want to say and say, well, that's bullshit. They're not. They should be giving they all. They getting paid millions. Look, it is what it is. When you get to be older like that, man, you're going to play hard, but you know what I'm saying? It's going to be times within the game you're going to take some time off. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can play another game, and if you get behind in the game, you might not exude all your energy in order to make a comeback like you might need to, because you can save the energy for another day. It's a long 82-game season, so the Lakers just need to stay away from being in the play-in like they did last year, and with the play-in with Phoenix and everything. I mean, with the Golden State or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think the Lakers are easily going to finish 4th or 5th in the West. You got a lot of teams out there that's neck and neck. And if you really think about it, if you take one of these teams is not going to make it out of these 8. So you got Minnesota, who's playing well. You got Portland is playing well. Sacramento, and everybody wants to say that Sacramento wasn't good, but look, Sacramento beat the Clippers. They've been having some good wins. Of course, they beat the Lakers. I mean, they're right there, even though they're below 500. But if you take these 1 through 8 teams, I know you got the 7 through 10, but at this point, one of these teams won't make it. Portland, Minnesota, Denver, because I feel like Golden State will make it, Phoenix will make it, Utah will make it, Memphis will make it, the Clippers will make it, and the Lakers will make it. Now, Dallas, Minnesota, and Portland, that's all going to be up for grabs, I feel like, in the play-in game. And of course, we always focus on the Western Conference because that's what the Lakers are in, and that's what we focus more so on this channel. But if you think about it, just taking a good look at the East, everybody want to be all on the Lakers and talk about how horrible the Lakers is. Look at the number 1 seed, Brooklyn Nets. Their record is 16-7. 16-7. So that means the Lakers have only lost, 4 or 5 more games than Brooklyn, and LeBron James has been out over half of the games. Now, I know they're missing Kyrie Irving, but look, Brooklyn took the L to Chicago on yesterday, and Chicago is looking nice. So people better quit sleeping on Chicago, because Zach LaVine, if he can stay healthy, which he's not always done, but if he can stay healthy, him, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball are for real. And they for real about their defense and the effort that they're giving on the defensive end. So people better quit playing with them. And then look at Milwaukee. They the defending champions, 15-9. 15-9, but nobody really just all in their business talking about, oh, Milwaukee, oh, but weren't they picked as one of the favorites? Because I could have swore at the beginning of the seasons, the favorite to win the title was Brooklyn. The second favorite was the Lakers. The third favorite was Golden State. And the fourth favorite was Brooklyn. And somebody knew something in Vegas who picked Golden State, because a lot of people's like, Golden State scratching their head because they was thinking, well, Clay coming back. Well, it wasn't just all about that, because they knew. Somebody knew something. And I mean, Golden State is looking really nice. But at the end of the day, when it come down to a series, who going to shrink and who going to play big? You understand what I'm saying? If Anthony Davis can play big and play in the paint the way he's capable of, and he's truly a top 75 player like they say he is, if he's truly an MVP type talent like they say he is, then you're going to see LeBron James elevate his game in the playoffs like he always does. And for the people that talked ish the other day who said, you know, I'm making excuses for LeBron, you know, and I said, you know, he was rusty, go listen to LeBron James' post-game interview. He said after they put him in the COVID protocol, he had to travel alone, no security, couldn't be around any of his teams, couldn't be around anybody. They basically just left that man in Sacramento and told him he had to figure out a way to get to the crib on his own. Now, imagine being a celebrity of that status and all the people that hate LeBron James and all kind of things that you could go through. And now you just stuck out here. You got to fly commercial. I figure out what you got to do to rent a private chopper or whatever it is so you can get back to the crib. So from that point on, it was a struggle. He didn't even get a chance to. He wasn't allowed to touch a court, touch a basketball. He said he didn't touch a basketball for almost a week. So when you're in the NBA, you have to develop a rhythm. You have to develop a rhythm. It's not the YMCA where you might have been working at William Steele for a couple of days and then all of a sudden you leave there and then you finna go hoop and you put it down on some people. You understand what I'm saying? This is the National Basketball Association where they got these young gunners, you know what I mean? And they got all these great players that's always looking to elevate their games in order to be a superstar and be paid maximum contract on that extension and ready to not get put out the league by the next young drafted superstars that's always up and coming for their jobs. Do you understand what I'm saying? So for LeBron James to be at 37 years old, and speaking of this, man, I got to bring this up. So all these Golden State fans, all these people who became Golden State fans, you know, it's people that was LeBron fans or whatever, but all these people who became Golden State fans because they wanted to see LeBron lose and they started loving Golden State, that was gravy. But then Golden State fell off. And after Golden State fell off, what did they do? They went to become Brooklyn fans. Because they want to go for anybody who can beat LeBron, and they want to Brooklyn. What's that chump who used to be on TV last name? Apparently they got rid of him off their little show. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Used to be a receiver for the Broncos. Somebody put it in the comments, man. I can't think of his name, but you know who I'm talking about. He always with his little Nets jersey. He probably would have had a Golden State jersey this year. So now they put these haters in a dilemma. See, these haters, they like, well, damn, I should have went back to Golden State. Golden State #1 again. Steph Curry hooping again. So you done left Golden State and went to the Nets. Now you like, damn. So go ahead and get you a hat, put Nets on the front and Golden State on the back. Or just get you a jersey to say anything but LeBron, because I don't understand why these people just want to hate on LeBron James so much. I think y'all really need to get y'all life together. But hey, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like I said, the Lakers got these 3 days off. It's going to be really good for them. Now, Boston is a good team, and Boston is going to come out hooping on Tuesday night. But let's just hope the fans can show up and give the Lakers some much-needed energy that they need and some home cooking from the crowd. And let's just hope the Lakers can show up and hit their damn free throws, because the free throws has been abysmal. Of course, you know, they can do a lot better from the line, especially when you're in a close game and you miss 7 to 10 free throws in the game. It's not going to be a good outcome for you 9 times out of 10. So let's hope the Lakers, got in the gym, practice on some free throws, got themselves in a rhythm on their home rim, and they'll be ready to go on Tuesday night. Because after that, I want to say they play Memphis, which, damn it, y'all, I want to be at that game so bad, but I will actually be down in Miami. You understand what I'm saying? And I will not be able to attend that game in Memphis as much as I wanted to. But don't worry, there's other games that I will be able to get to. But after they play Memphis, I think they're going to be playing like who are they playing after that? Orlando. The schedule going to soften up for them a little bit more. Let me pull it up. Let me see who are the Lakers going to be playing right after that. I think they play Orlando. Then after they play Orlando, they got after they play Memphis, they do have OKC, which they lost to twice already this year. Was pathetic, of course, because they didn't have LeBron James, but LeBron will be in that game, so that should be another win for them. And then after that, then they're gonna get another couple of days off, and then Orlando will be coming to them. That should be another victory. And then after that, after they play Orlando, then they're gonna be playing Dallas, which should be a pretty good game, but Dallas doesn't fear me. That could be another game that the Lakers can and should win. And then if you keep going, if you just go all the way up into the Christmas schedule, they got Minnesota, which Minnesota played them pretty nice this year. If Karl Anthony Towns play, then I think that's going to be a pretty close game, but that's one that the Lakers are more than capable of winning as well. And then, of course, the Lakers will get their rematch against the Bulls, and the Bulls are playing good, but this will be at the United Center. And I really feel like it'll be a homecoming for, THT and for Anthony Davis, both being from Chicago. And I think them boys going to want to come out because they're going to have plenty of homies and plenty of family in the stands, because whenever you come back to the crib to play, everybody is always up in the stands and want to watch you play. So with all that being said, I think the Lakers can win that game, and that'll be a really statement game too, and it'll kind of gauge the Lakers where they are, if you think about it. Then after that, that Phoenix game, that rematch of Phoenix, that's going to really see where they at too. They start getting to that meat of that schedule, getting ready for Christmas. Then they have a little tune-up game against the Spurs. And then we all know on Christmas at 7 o'clock p.m., yeah, I said 7, at 7 o'clock p.m., them Brooklyn Nets is not going to get what they want for Christmas. They going to get some young cold in their stockings because they coming to L.A. They coming to L.A., and then we're going to see really what's up. And then, like I said, you can start getting engaged. And I know a lot of people say, I'm one of those. Kendrick Nunn is not back. I think Trevor Ariza is getting close. I think he's been practicing the past couple of days, so he might actually get some playing time on Tuesday against Boston. I would like to see them ease his way into it, because not getting that chemistry and cohesiveness with the team, it wouldn't be the best idea to throw him in against Boston. I'd rather see him come back against a team like OKC so he can get a little bit of rhythm on the offensive end and see how the Lakers play and kind of fit into their scheme and how they do things. But with all that being said, man, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas holiday, man, that's coming up, and happy holidays, and make sure that everybody stays safe. And as always, man, right on to the real, and much love to these haters. I'm up out.